Welcome back to the Dubai Autodrome. We're getting ourselves ready for the Formula 4 UAE Championship, third race of the weekend. I'm Jake Sanson. Beside me is the voice of Dubai Autodrome, Chris Milbourne, as we get ourselves ready for another thriller. The morning race certainly delivered some surprises. Two different winners from the first two races of the weekend. Delano Van Toff yesterday, Enzo Trulli this morning. Guess who's on pole position? It's Delano Van Toff again, Chris.
So let's see what he can do with this, because unfortunately in race number one, he finished in fifth position, and it's quite unusual for him because we usually see him on the podium multiple times throughout the race weekends. Now, very similar sort of finishes from in Dubai's race 1 through 4, and then Yas's races 1 through 4 as well. Second place finished first, second place finished first, and then he usually finishes just outside the podium in either 4th or 5th position, and this morning he finished in 5th position. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Delano Van Hoff can do. Of course, he comes into this race as championship leader with 199 points, and he's about a race clear of the Enzo Trulli second placed car with 174 points. I think, if my maths says correctly, it's just over a race and a bit between the two of them, because it's 25 points for a win here. It's 1 extra point for the fastest lap. Delano Van Hoff has certainly been one of the fastest drivers this season, and he is certainly the man to beat. We're looking at UAE driver here, of course, is Hamda Al-Khabaisi, daughter of Khalid Al-Khabaisi, an endurance racing, essentially a legend here in the United Arab Emirates. Many endurance wins to his name, and of course he and his family here supporting his daughter. Both daughters actually racing here this weekend, one in F3, one in F4. And actually Hamda Al-Khabaisi, race winner last time out actually in Yas. She won the 4th race of the weekend. There's a very proud mum indeed.
Well, those two sisters really have been exceptional since their karting days. They've been absolutely magnificent. Of course, last year, Hamda Al-Khabaisi actually won the Dubai O Plate as a senior gearbox driver, and Hamda Al-Khabaisi was one of the competitors competing in that category as well. So they've come straight out of the karting scene into single-seaters. They're now well established in the worlds of F4 and F3 as very feisty competitors. This man has got an interesting task ahead. Townsend Tafuvazak, the Thai racer. Let's see what he can do, having taken his first podium a couple of weekends ago. So he now has a really strong chance of making light work of things. He's managed to get 1 podium at Dubai, 1 at Yas Marina. So here on the international circuit, he has another chance of it, and started his weekend with a 4th and a 7th in the 2 races. But for the 9th time this season, Delano Van Toff will start having qualified in pole position.
And of course he's behind the wheel of one of the XL Motorsport cars, and XL Motorsport a massive involvement here on the F4, and they've been here since almost day one essentially. Kevin Day, who runs the team, also his son Jamie Day racing. Jamie Day is a bit further down the field. He's shown his 13th here, so he's at the back of the grid, although no time actually shown for him in qualifying. So let's hope that Jamie Day will be on the grid, because he unfortunately retired in race number 2 earlier this morning. So great to see what Jamie Day, because of course we have 3 drivers representing the GCC. We've got 2 from the United Arab Emirates, it's Jamie Day and of course Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Then we have the Saudi Arabian driver Saud Al Saud, who's on the 6th row of the grid in 12th position, alongside newcomer the number 75. But a very, very impressive season here for XL Motorsport. They've been the dominant team this season. They've had all the drivers to beat, and they've been on the podium a number of times with a handful of drivers, including Delano Van Hoff. We've seen Kirill Smile on the top step of the podium as well, along with Enzo Trulli for Cran Durango, and of course we saw Abu Dhabi Racing by Prema on the top step of the podium with Hamda Al-Khabaisi last time out of Yas.
And of course you mentioned the 3 GCC drivers. All 3 of them of course cut their teeth on the kart circuit directly behind us, the Dubai Kartdrome. So it's wonderful to see that they are now here in the Formula 4 UAE Championship, cutting their teeth in single-seater racing. A lot of these guys, of course, competing in single-seater racing for the very first time in their careers. The vast majority of those in the field, so it is fascinating to see what they can do. Delano Van Toff and Enzo Trulli, though, renew their battle as they run from the front of the grid. This start is going to be so critical, but watch for Kirill Smile in 3rd position. He's really good off the line, and Hamda Al-Khabaisi will want to stay out of trouble and put in another great race like she did this morning.
So further behind there, those are the top 2 rows there. Then we have Pepe Marti, the young Spaniard. He's been on the podium a number of times looking for his first race win. He's been on the podium twice. Not the best start for his season for the Spaniard. 3 retirements in the DNS in Dubai, but he's He's shown quick pace, as we said, on the podium twice. Once at Yas Marina with a third place finish and a second, in this morning's race. Alongside him will be Francesco Barci, who we didn't see out last time at Yas Marina, but he's back here in Dubai behind the wheel of a Muka Motorsport car. Then we have Oleksandr Parashev, who was on pole position for the fourth race in Yas Marina last time out, with the tyre driver alongside for company on row number 4. Jonas Reed in the second of the Muka Motorsport cars in the 77, with Enzo Scanotti alongside for company in the second of the Crown Durango cars. Then we have the 75 and 3 at the back of the grid, and we do have Jamie Day, so it'll be very interesting to watch the young driver there from the back of the grid, and let's see what the young Day can do. As we're out now on the formation lap, it will be a standing start like it was this morning. Well, let's see what Delano Van Hoff can do from pole position. Will he get a good start?
Well, this is the guy who very, very nearly got the chance to win the Karting World Championship back in 2019 over at Alajärvi in Finland. He was one of the men who could have challenged the Italian star Lorenzo Travasanuto. So this boy has got so much reputation behind him. Enzo Trulli, another of the drivers in that particular category in the juniors in those days, who could have made a big stink at Alajärvi. So these two men at the front have taken to the United Arab Emirates and really shown their form, and they've got scintillating speed and pace already out of the blocks. Delano Van Toff, lightningly quick, certainly the fastest over one lap, but obviously races are not won in one lap, so he's got plenty of opportunities, and this is the first break out of the world of karting. I actually spoke to his father yesterday. They're a little bit taken aback by just how quickly Delano has taken to an F4 car out here in the Emirates, but they're fully aware that, you know, this is still a building opportunity for him. This is still building experience. He's not going to get it right every time. We saw that in the second race earlier today. We saw that, you know, he's really struggled to deal with the wheel-to-wheel situations because some of these guys are still thinking like kart racers. They're still seeing a gap and just banzaiing in for it. And that's where we've had some of those moments where we've had safety cars or we've had a couple of drivers coming together. So you have to start thinking a little bit more like a single-seater driver, and they're learning as they go. That's the difficulty about this championship. It's high exposure of learning your craft. So these guys are really rabbits in headlights as they come through in the world of single-seaters.
So another 20-minute race here for the F4UAE Championship. He said Delano Van Hoff, I think, could almost be nicknamed Mr. Consistency because he's never finished outside the top 5 in the previous 12 races we've had already for what is a monumental season here in the FIA F4UAE Championship. As we said, we've got a total of 13 drivers on the grid. We've had 15 drivers in total. So Mateus Zagazeta, the Peruvian driver, not here this weekend. Raced last time out at Yas. We saw Francesco not participate in Yas, but back in Dubai. We have the Frenchman, the number 75 car that's now behind the wheel. He's new this race this weekend, actually, but he's finishing outside the top 10, so he hasn't scored any points. So interesting to see what the Frenchman can do, as he's in 11th position, just behind Enzo Scanotti. So the cars line up on the grid. We're about to get underway for race 3 here at the Dubai Autodrome.
Delano Van Toff on the right-hand side, Enzo Trulli on your left, and both men have taken a win this weekend. Slightly out of position on the grid there, Enzo Scionti in the Crown Durango, so that hasn't quite worked out for him. That could come up to bite him later, but we get the green flag at the back of the field, and the red lights will come on as we get ready to race in Dubai Autodrome.
The engine notes start to rise here. 4 lights on. We're going for the 5th one now. Is it going to be a long hold? It's no. We're green flag here, racing for the 3rd time here at the Dubai Autodrome. It's a good start all around, but at the back of the grid, and one of the cars has stalled. That is Saud Al-Saud. The Saudi Arabian driver's not got off the line in his 3-wide technology car. This is disaster for the Saudi Arabian as we're down towards turn 1. We're going to go side by side with Enzo Trulli on the outside, with Delano Van Hoff on the inside. Can they keep it off? Can they keep it clean? Yes, they do. And here comes Kirill Smile as well. He wants first.
Superb start from Enzo Trulli. He kept it lit around the outside, relied on the car to give him grip, and that has put him into the lead of the race. Smile in 3rd position, side by side. Braschi and Al-Kubaisi as they dice for 4th position, and I think it looks as though, no, sorry, it's not Braschi, it is Marti, and Marti has gone through past Al-Kubaisi to go up into 4th position. So it's Trulli from Van Toff and Smile. Van Toff is already starting the attack on Enzo Trulli. Trulli's going ultra defensive. He needs to be careful. He needs to focus more on the braking zone than he does on the car swarming around behind him. He's made that right nicely. Hamder Al-Kubaisi drifting a little bit wide to try and get up the inside of Pepe Marti on the exit. Has done so, but is going to be a little bit counterproductive on the exit, so this could get pretty thrilling. Smile is going to go for a gap on Van Toff. That's brave from the Russian. They're going to go side by side.
Down towards the bowl complex now, through the right-hander, with Delano Van Hoff shutting the door on the Russian, but it's a fantastic battle here up front. The three cars, Enzo Trulli, Delano Van Hoff, and Kirill Smile here, all battling as they work their way towards the bowl complex for the first time. Delano Van Hoff looks for a way on the inside, and looks like Kirill Smile's going around the outside here. That's not going to work, as Enzo Trulli shuts the door on both of them. Leaves a nice, or just a small pinch of an opportunity there for Delano Van Hoff, but not enough for him to stick his F4 car through and on the inside. As through the final corner go for the first time, the leading trio will come across the line now. It is Trulli from Van Hoff, from Kirill Smile, as we work our way across the line for the first time. And thickest of all there is the Crown Durango, Enzo Trulli, number 34, with a 1:45.752. 2 tenths of a second back is Delano Van Hoff, who's lost second place. Sarapul has lost the position as well. Tolaskanda Pardashev, by the looks of it, as they continue on across the line, with Sardar Stalber in the 13 for 3Y Technology across the line as well. Jamie Day, a great opening lap for the young driver there. He's moved up 3 places, up now into the top 10 behind Jonas Reed in the Muka Motorsport car. So lap 2 underway. Let's see how this all goes for Enzo Trulli. Can he keep Delano Van Hoff behind him? And now it looks like we've got a quartet brewing here, as Hamdar Kabaisi is latching onto the back of the Russian, as we're going now down towards turn number 5 here. Enzo Trulli blocking the inside there from Delano Van Hoff, but he's trying to get the cut back here as we work our way through. Not a large enough gap here, but he's going to try on the inside. Oh, that was rather close there. That was almost a front splitter goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, Trulli's got very, very good at racecraft here. He knows that Van Hoff is going to make the move on the inside, but he relies on his confidence and relies on the gap. Now watch Kirill Smile. He's got opportunities around the outside, but he has to drift out wide. Hamdar Kabaisi does too, but Hamdar Al-Kabaisi doesn't lose quite as much time. Kirill Smile actually kept his foot in on the gas there. That was a little bit cheeky from Kirill Smile. He really needed to get a little bit wide off the gas. Now he's going to try and hold the line in front of Hamdar Al-Kabaisi, but that hesitation from Delano Van Hoff has given Enzo Trulli the tiniest little whiff of a gap. That's given him a little bit of an advantage. We've got a great tussle going on for 5th between Marty Brashy and Partishev, so they're having a nice little duo, having a little bit of a battle there with Tazin Dafuvazak as well. He's starting to get into the battle. Jamie Day is still trying to get on terms with Jonas Reed, so they're coming off the final turn as well. But watch Enzo Trulli down the main straight. It's fascinating. He's got one eye permanently glued on the rear view mirror as they go down to the first corner. He needs to be focusing on the braking point, not on Delano Van Hoff behind him.
Then of course he's looking to the right hand side as well, because that's where Delano Van Hoff is going to try and sneak up through. As on that lap, Amadema Racing by Prema's number 88, Hamdar Kabaisi is the fastest one out there. The young driver here looking to make a name for herself here in the junior Formula categories, and she's currently vying for a podium finishing position here with our top 3. Enzo Trulli, Delano Van Hoff, Kirill Smile, and of course Hamdar Kabaisi. As you said, the 28's moved up now into 5th place, with Pepe Marti being dropped down to 6th. We've got a great race on our hands here, haven't we, Jake?
We certainly have. I don't think there's any doubt in the world-class stature of the Al-Kubaisi sisters now. Amna has always been very, very strong since she got into the world of cars. Hamdar Al-Kubaisi is even slightly going quicker than Amna did when she first broke into the car. So there's a suggestion perhaps that maybe even Hamdar's got a tiny little bit more under her right foot than Amna does. And she has taken to this series incredibly rapidly. Hamdar looking like a title contender from the first race of the season when she got a podium. And all she needs to do is keep consistent. She managed to gain some ground on Delano Van Hoff in the last race by beating him fair and square. So the gap has come down in the title fight. Delano Van Hoff was 41 points ahead coming into this second race of the weekend, the one before this one. Enzo Trulli's now halved that gap, but the gap is just 25 points. So it's really starting to get fever pitch. And if Trulli beats Van Hoff this time, the Dutchman is really going to take a confidence beating.
He certainly will, because he's, as you said, championship leader, and he's a championship leader by quite some margin as well, and he's losing points now to Enzo Trulli. So this will bring the gap down by 7 points at the line. That's if Crown Durango's Enzo Trulli can stay out in front, as Jonas Reed now moves up into 8th position in the 77, with Thanapool dropping now down to 9th place. But fastest man out there is Crown Durango's Enzo Trulli, looking to bag an additional point here to bring the total of 26 points to his name, and that will really close the gap in on Delano Van Hoff, the young Dutchman, who has been essentially the man to beat throughout the season. We're going side by side through the first sector, and now onto the long back straight. Here we go. The quartet of cars up front have managed to escape the rest of the field, but now they're sort of tumbling over one another, and they're not gaining on Enzo Trulli. Although saying that, Delano Van Hoff has managed to escape from the Russian and the Emiranian driver.
Yeah, this is going to be very fascinating for Delano Van Toff because he's making good ground on Enzo Trulli. He's using the slipstream well. He needs to start thinking about where Enzo Trulli is going to be vulnerable and start to get that momentum to swing in his direction. So obviously Delano Van Toff is thinking tactically, he's thinking strategically, but he's also got to be quite aggressive. These are short races. The race start, I'm being told, is under investigation. Now that has surely got to be for Enzo Schionti being slightly out of position at the start from P10. So that's going to be something that will come back to bite the American later.
Now, it was a very interesting race start as well because the driver behind him on the row just sort of slotted in before him, so he had a very tight gap to fit in to his grid position. I think that was Jamie Day that was behind him at the line, and he just saw that Enzo Schionti's Crown Duranga car was a little bit too far to the left. You could see more of his tyres than we should have been able to, because we sort of had a nice clean line on either side. As we completed lap number 4 now, Enzo Trulli was briefly the fastest man out there, but Delano Van Toff answers that immediately, going about 1/10 of a second faster as Jonas Ried has made a position once again. He's found a way past Oleksandr Podashev as the German, so the Ukrainian now down to 8th place in the 23. So this is good news for Delano Van Toff because he's taking 1 additional point away from Enzo Trulli, so the gap won't come down by a significant margin, although I think 20 plus points, even 25 plus points, is going to be quite a tough ask for Enzo Trulli, because that's essentially an entire race separating the 2 championship title fighters here.
We're going to see the first bid for an overtaking move on the next lap from Delano Van Toff, I think, because he's not quite close enough to challenge Enzo Trulli, but he's definitely gaining the ground. He's quicker than him in the first sector, but he needs to catch Enzo Trulli off guard here. He can't just afford to go for the first gap he sees. He needs to catch Enzo Trulli out. So he might even try coming into this 3rd sector of the lap, because Enzo Trulli thinks he's got a decent lead here. He knows that Van Toff is going to be quick, and he knows that he's going to be looking for an overtaking move, but he can't be predictable. Delano Van Toff has to keep Enzo Trulli guessing, because an easy overtaking move is easy to predict. So he's now got to try something a little bit different, and this is going to be a new challenge for Delano Van Toff. When he gets into the lead, he disappears. This is going to be really testing his racecraft, and having seen him in his karting days, racecraft is one thing he's always been very good at.
It'll be interesting to see now with these two sort of now squabbling over for first place, because of course now Enzo Trulli will have to be more defensive as Delano Van Toff is closing in, coming through the final corner. This is allowing the 2 behind them, the Russian and the Emirati driver, to close in. Kirill Smart. Kirill was faster through sector 2, with Honda being faster through sector 1. As we're across the line to complete lap number 5, and Abu Dhabi Racing by Premise 88 is the quickest out there. Honda Kamaisi puts a very fast 1:39.629, so we're approaching the midpoint of the 1:39s, and Pepe Marti gains a position. And Jake, what happened there?
Enzo just made a big mistake into turn 1. He tried to move so far across for Delano Van Toff. He's covering the line. Look, he's just positioning the car so that Delano Van Toff is blocked. Now, of course, that stops the move initially, but it sets him up to lose it 2 or 3 corners down the line. You can't afford to be this defensive this early into the race. And Enzo Trulli, look, he's pulling far across. This is where things open up. Delano Van Toff thinks, right, well, he's going to protect that inside line. That's no problem. I'm going to use his slipstream. I'm going to get alongside him, and I'm going to drive around the outside. They're going to bang wheels if they're not careful. Delano Van Toff is squeezed wide. Oh, and he's actually hit the back of the car.
That looks more like he got on the rumble strips out there on the left-hand side, because the right front sort of popped up there. And now look at what's happened here. We've got a quartet once again for the race leader. Here comes Kirill Smart. He's benefited the most, and he's taken the lead. The young Russian now leads from Enzo Trulli. Delano Van Toff is actually in 4th place now. Hamdar Kabaisi into the top 3. What a race we have on our hands. This is absolutely thrilling stuff here as the Russian leads going into the bowl complex here for the 6th time.
Textbook from Kirill Smalt. He read the situation absolutely spot on. He knew that Trulli was going to be compromised. Van Toff is going to go for the smallest gap in history on Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. That's never going to work. So Hamdar Al-Kubaisi can hold 3rd. And now Trulli's vulnerable again. So Hamdar Al-Kubaisi's got a great chance into turn 1 to try and get back on the Italian. But that was so smartly read by Kirill Smalt. He knew that the 2 of them were going to have that moment. He knew that they were going to bang wheels. And he knew that Trulli was going to be second guessing what was going to happen into the next apex. So Kirill Smalt pounced. It was such beautiful reading of the situation. This is what he's really good at. Now this is up to Hamdar Al-Kubaisi in 3rd position. Van Toff's going to be looming large in the mirrors. Look, Al-Kubaisi actually goes a little bit longer into the braking zone to draw away from the XL Motorsport car, and that brings her closer onto the back of Enzo Trulli. But she knows the circuit so well. She's got good grip, good knowledge, good understanding of where the car's going to travel. So she's got a good chance of going for 2nd place now.
He certainly does, as Kirill Smile now continues to lead, and he's stretched that to now 4/10 of a second, because of course Enzo Trilli's got eyes all over the place. He's got eyes in front and behind him. Kirill Smile just has to worry about what's going on behind him for now, as the young Russian approaches turn number 5 now, as Hamdar Kabaisi flanks to the inside, try to fend off from Dilana Van Hoff, as a much tighter line through that corner there for Dilana Van Hoff compared to the last lap, not bumping over the rumble strips. Has to settle in for 4th for now, but no doubt, like we saw in the previous lap, he's going to try and make a move now on the inside of Hamdar Kabaisi going through the bowl complex, but he doesn't want to take too much of a bold move, because we still have one race to go here. If he loses his car now, and he loses all momentum he has, he's lost automatically 25 points already, and that will really bring the title fight all the way down, essentially, to what I think would be about 7 points.
This is such good defence from Hamdar Al-Kubaisi, but Van Hoff is going to storm up the inside. They're going to bang wheels, maybe, not quite, but that is Van Hoff getting through. But fair play to Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. She held him off for quite a long way through that sector when they were side by side, and had actually chopped across him midway through the first apex of that complex. So Hamdar Al-Kubaisi now sets herself up for a run to go back on terms with Dilana Van Hoff. The problem is they've lost time to the 2 leaders, so they've kind of left Smale and Trulli on their own. But Hamdar Al-Kubaisi is not done yet. She's certainly looking like the most promising Emirati in junior motorsport since Ed Jones.
And here comes Pepe Marti as well. He sees what's happening in front of him, and he wants a piece of this action as well. More importantly, he wants a 3rd place finish here for more points in his championship hunt as we progress our way through. Car number 29 receives a 5-second penalty that we applied at the end of the race for start line infringement. Is that Enzo? Yes, it is. Well, it's not Trulli, it's Zanotti, isn't it, in 11th place. So that's not great news there for the American.
So Enzo Scionti, unfortunately, taking the wrath of that penalty. Now look, Van Hoff is trying to second-guess Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. He's trying to shake her off the toe, because he knows that Abu Dhabi Racing by Prema is fast in a straight line. So essentially, he's trying to break the toe of Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. He doesn't want to set up another overtaking move. Meanwhile, Pepe Marti, in 5th position, the Spaniard, is just keeping himself nice and serenely in this fight. He's just hanging on to the back of Van Hoff and Al-Kubaisi and letting them essentially scrabble amongst themselves, because he knows he's got a good chance of breaking onto the podium if those two continue to squabble. So Marti is just following in the footsteps of Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. They're in 4th position. She's solid. She's composed. So Marti can gain a lot of ground just by staring at the rear wing.
So Smile was quickest there through sector 2 with a 26.3. As you said, we saw Dilana Van Hoff at a very interesting line he took through the bowl complex. He sort of flanked all the way as wide as possible. Hamdar closed the door on him, or what she thought he did. And as you said, he sort of cut in on the inside. And it was a very interesting move. I don't think I've seen that done here at the Dubai Autodrome, but that's what you get when you've got Dilana Van Hoff behind you, haven't you? Bold moves throughout the race, and now he's in catch-up mode, but he's losing ground now to Enzo Trulli. 1.4 seconds is the gap.
This is all going to be about how Kirill Smale responds to Enzo Trulli for the race victory, and how Dilana Van Hoff copes with the pressure that his main championship rival is ahead of him. So he's just got to focus on the fact that, well, I've got 2 cars really chasing me, so I now need to pull away. I need to find a little bit more composure. But Hamdar Al-Kubaisi is slicing in these apexes and in these braking zones. She's really making mincemeat of Van Hoff's position. So this is an opportunity for Hamdar. Van Hoff is losing the race here, and there isn't really a lot that the Dutchman can do about it except try and break the toe.
So we've seen some movement further down the field as well. The Ukrainian Alaskana Barnachev has found a way through and past Jonas Reed in the 23, so puts the Muka Motorsport car, the number 77, down to 8th place as we continue to watch the battle now. What was once for the lead of the race is now for third position, excuse me, because it's Dilana Van Hoff, Hamdar Kabaisi and Pepe Marti now who are battling. So we've got a nice trio here with the Emirati driver in the mix right in the middle of it. So she's the Abu Dhabi Racing by Prema meet in between the XL Motorsport sandwich at the moment. And of course, XL Motorsport very dominant. A lot of cars here over this season, and their cars are always out in front of they seem to be, Kevin Day's team is the team to beat as we're through the bowl complex, and you can see the 2 leaders now escaping up the road. Just 6/10 of a second separate the 2 of them, and then it's a further 2 seconds back from race leader is Dilana Van Hoff as we're coming through the final corner now. Enzo Scionti not close enough to make a move with 5 minutes ago. This has been one action-packed race so far. This is that we've gone green all the way through as well. Completing lap number 9. It is 5/10 of a second up front between the Russian Kirill Smale and Italy's Enzo Trulli. Dilana Van Hoff runs in 3rd position, and Jamie Day is gaining yet another position now, moving into 9th place. The Sunapol, unfortunately, rolling in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Day managed to get his teammate Inthra Fuvazak there, no problem at all. So that's the Emirati up into 9th position. Smal versus Trulli is still 2 seconds clear nearly of Vanthof and Al-Kubaisi. So Al-Kubaisi still stepping on the attack as she goes for broke and goes for 3rd position down the back straight. We only have 4 minutes left of racing, so that's probably 2 and a bit laps, including this one, left of racing. So Vanthof, look again, he tries to break the toe of Hamda Al-Kubaisi. But Hamda is so large in the mirrors. She knows this place inside and out. So she is able to maximize where the grip is. She knows where the dustier sections of the race circuit will be. She knows where she can position the car. She knows where she can gain ground on the car in front. So Hamda Al-Kubaisi well placed here to take advantage. We're just looking a little bit further back. This is 7th placed Alexander Partishev, the Ukrainian, chasing after Francesco Braschi. So Braschi is still there in 6th position in the Muka Motorsport car. And then further back we have Jonas Reed in the other one, just ahead of Day, Inthra Fuvazak, Skionti, Abramczyk and Al Saud, who did get started again despite missing the start.
So as we continue on now with 3.5 minutes to go on the clock, it is indeed Kirill Samar, the Russian, looking for a 2nd race victory here of the season, and he's managed to keep Enzo Trulli at bay by 5/10 seconds. He worked the way through the final corner. As Jake said, we've got enough time at least for 2 more laps here, so this should be the penultimate lap of the F4UAE Championship, race number 3 of the weekend. Interesting enough, on the previous lap there with Hamda Al-Kubaisi and Pepi Marti battling with one another, they both put very similar, actually they put in identical times going through sector 1, both at 39.9 apiece, although it shows Pepi Marti was the faster of the 2 through there. But then through sector 2 and 3, it looks like Pepi Marti just loses out to Hamda Al-Kubaisi.
Back to the front, this is where the race is won and lost. Enzo Trulli has realised he doesn't have to rush this. Kirill Smal is the leader, but Enzo Trulli has already won a race around here this weekend, so he can just place the car behind Kirill Smal, and he hasn't been pushing the car to the maximum. He's just been letting time tick down. We're now 2.5 minutes left. This is the penultimate lap of the race. We're only going to get 1 more after this one. So now is the time to attack. He's thinking like a kart racer. You never attack until the penultimate lap. That's when the driver in front starts to make those errors, starts to make those mistakes. So this is where Enzo Trulli can really catch Kirill Smal out. Smal has done the hard work to get through into position. Now he's got to really focus on where he positions the car. One defensive move that goes wrong, and Enzo Trulli is going to absolutely hammer him around this final part of the course. So there is Kirill Smal and Enzo Trulli coming off the turn at the top end of the car, the top end of the circuit by the UP building, and now they'll come into view. But Enzo Trulli is going to make all the moves here on Kirill Smal. He just needs to get into his blind spot and really start to hassle the Russian as they go into the last lap.
So I was just looking at Hamda Al-Kubaisi's time, because the timing screen here took a bit of time to actually catch up, because it still showed her going through 1, 2 and 3 from the previous lap, and it didn't show her going through 1 and 2 on this lap. The good news is the number 18 is still circulating, so just keeping an eye on that there, and she's battling now for 4th position actually, apologies for that, because Delana Vanthof is in front of her. Pepi Marti though looks to have made a move somewhere, and it hasn't paid off because it's really dropped off the pace. He was just 7/10 seconds back, he's now dropped to a 2nd, so he's lost 3/10 seconds to the Emirati on that lap. Final lap underway, Jake.
This is it. This is where Enzo Trulli can really start to give Kirill Smal some proper pressure. These two have met countless times on the karting circuit, so they should know each other's tricks by now, but make the car wider and faster and definitely put them into a false sense of security, and it's going to be thrilling to see how these two battle away. But Trulli is a race winner this year, so is Kirill Smal. Trulli's done it 3 times, Smal just the once, so it's going to be really important for the Russian to keep his composure. He is desperately trying to break the slipstream of Enzo Trulli. Trulli's not falling for it. This could be the first chance for Trulli to look for it. Smal responds, moves to cover. That's going to give him a little bit of a problem. In the middle of the circuit he places the car. That's exactly where to place it. Trulli can't go left or right by placing it there.
But you saw, just going down towards turn 5, you saw that Enzo Trulli said, okay, I'm going to think about this. No, I can't do it. I've got to slot right behind him because this won't work. I'm not close enough to make a move. And he's just gone through another hairpin there, down towards the bowl complex we go. This is his, well, he's still got actually 2 more opportunities, but this is probably one of the most important points of the racetrack to actually try and make a move on the inside. Very different lines there through turn 8 through and into the bowl complex. Not close enough to make a move, Jake. He's got only 2 corners to do this. Can he do it?
I think he's left it too late. Enzo Trulli could have made a little bit more of an aggressive move, but he's also got the championship points to think about. Kirill Smal is trying to get himself back into contention there. So by doing this in the 2nd time this season, a 2nd win for Kirill Smal, it gives him a brilliant building of confidence to go to. 2 arms aloft for Kirill Smal. He's absolutely elated. He has read every single lap perfectly there, and Smal does the job in fine style ahead of Enzo Trulli and Delano Vanthof, with Hamda Al-Kubaisi narrowly missing out on another podium.
Yeah, we saw that going into the final corner there. It was Delana van 't Hoff literally just shut the door immediately on Hamda Al-Khabaisi because it looked like she could have snuck up on the way on the inside, but Delana van 't Hoff shut the door on her to ensure that he took third place away. And notice on the screen as well, Jamie Day, who's in the top 10, has dropped down to 12th position across the line in the XL Motorsport. So not the best weekend for the young Jamie Day here. But no doubt we have another race coming up later on today. We'll probably see some improvement from Day and the rest of the field. So as Stardust across the line, the young Saudi driver there. Unfortunately, not the best start for him and just didn't get the car in gear, did he?
No, indeed. I didn't want to jinx it before, but that is the second time all season that every single car that started the race has crossed the finish line. So that is a good achievement from the F4 drivers. They're continuing to learn. They obviously have to learn on the job and in this rather obscure microscope that they're having to live under as people watching at home from all over the world are keeping an eye on their progress. But they are learning, they are getting things right, they are improving, and Kirill Smal is definitely now proving to be the number 3 driver in this title equation. He's taken some good points there out of Trulli and van 't Hoff. He needs to do it consistently when we go to Yaz next time out. But it's definitely looking good for Kirill Smal. He is becoming a title contender.
And now with Delana van 't Hoff finishing in third place, he's lost a few points to Enzo Trulli, because of course in second place you get 18 points, and for third place you get 15. So he's lost 3 points to his championship rival, but I think, actually no, it's gone the way of Enzo Trulli, because did he have the fastest lap time throughout the race? It's showing a 1:43.75 as our last lap, not our race best. And
actually, no, the bonus point for the fastest lap actually goes to Hamda Al-Khabaisi.
Interesting. And she's sat in 4th position overall in the championship. She's only 5 points behind Kirill Smal, at least coming into this race, which she's lost significant ground. But no doubt, I think we have a great championship brewing up here between 4 top drivers here in the F4UAE Championship.
It's fantastic, and it's great to see these guys learning on the job. Kirill Smal, a very delighted Russian with the SMP Racing backing. He is the latest driver in this phenomenal motorsport program. They've garnered so many young Russians into the international form of motorsport, and the second that Kirill Smal was announced on the scene as part of the SMP Racing program, that sends a message. It's like, watch this kid, he's got something pretty special.
As the top 3 are in the pit lane and just doing a quick driver debriefing there with the team. And then we'll see them, I think, do a quick, sort of small podium presentation here. But your top 3, Kirill Smal, Enzo Trulli and Delana van 't Hoff. We'll have race number 4 later on today, and that will be at 4:45 local time here after the final race of the F3 Asian Championship. So we'll take a quick break for lunch and prayer times here in the United Arab Emirates, and we'll be back live on air soon. Thank you so much for watching. Chris and Jake, obviously, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.